All right. Well. Okay. I think the sun should be on. My light is the wrong way. Let's see if I can fix it. YouTube needs to do something a little different because we can't preview this prior to going live. So I was planning on going live, at my desk or wherever. But apparently, no matter where I go, I was not comfortable enough to be able to do this. So bear with me. We'll just do it, while I'm sitting here because this is a little bit more comfortable than everywhere else. So it is what it is. We just got to make it work. I wish I had put that light over there instead. Let me see. I think this is a bit better. Oh, this is so much better. Okay. This is so much better because I felt like it was so dark. All right. How are you guys? This is so much better. Yeah. Yeah. I am so happy that I'm able to do this because I had a little bit of a challenge, sitting on the hard stuff, it's just like not impossible, but it gets very hard for me. So I gotta like constantly be on a heated pad, so I could like function. But I'm functioning. So hello guys, my name is Reverend Dr. Marie Breville. Well, I welcome you here. If this is your first time, well, I am usually the fabulous coach, the wonderful coach, the favorite coach. I do a lot of work, especially within, because I believe that everything that you need to get done, if you're not able to love yourself, to understand who you are, where you're heading, how you're doing things. If you don't know you're not able to move forward. So a lot of time in life, people get stuck and they think that it's because whatever, bad luck, lack of opportunities and everything else. But most of the times people are stuck because they don't know who they are. People don't know they pick the wrong career, they make the wrong friends, whatever it is. It's like you'll be surprised the difference that it makes once you know who you are, once you know about yourself, you make better decisions. It's just like when you understand better about your health, depending on your type of blood type, you have a different diet, what someone who's a positive eating, someone who's O negative should not be eating that because their system is formed differently. And this is something that a lot of people don't know. Every time I say that and I get that like, what? You're making this up. No, I'm not making it up. This is totally true. And look it up yourself, Google your blood type and what should you eat, and you'll see what Google tells you, since Google has become the reference for information. So let me just verify that this is working properly, that I am actually live. that I'm not just talking to myself um, as soon as I can find it, right? It is so funny, like how each device. Oh, I am live. This is so pretty.
Live. This is so pretty.
Oh, gee, that is so funny. So, let me see something actually. Hold on. Um, okay. I just wanted to make sure like the lighting was doing okay because this is kind of different. I don't think I've done. I mean, I've done some shorts, while I'm just sitting here. I just like a quick idea, but I never really I haven't really done a live where I'm actually like I'm stuck in bed, I can't get up, that kind of a thing. But it's all good, it's all good. So today what I have for you, you're wondering, right? So I have for you today, just like the title says, 7 ways to keep your life in harmony. And as I started explaining to you, a lot of times people make the mistakes of thinking that um they can just go on in life, do whatever. That's why people go party, they go do this, they go do that. I'm forgetting this is on my feet. So I'm like, shit. I was just, okay. I'll try to remember that this is actually on me, not on something else. Because this is like so weird. Yeah. Mind me not. I would be like, I get those little spasm in my leg, just like, and yeah, that's what just kind of happened. Um, yeah, my life is like no dull moment. You know what I mean? Never a dull moment here. It's perfect fun. um, so yeah, so 7 ways to keep your life in harmony. I mean, we can probably change it into something else. 7 ways to be successful. 7 ways to have a good life. 7 ways to to be loved. Whatever it is, but it's gonna be 7 ways that I will share with you, and I actually even have a bonus. So it's really like 8 ways. But yeah. So if you're ready, we're gonna get started. So the first one is that sometimes people will not. Oops, I probably should put glasses on. Right? Let me try to see. Okay. All right. Sometimes, whatever you have to say will not be popular, and people will try to maybe shut you down, not supporting what you have to say. But if it is something that you must say, if it is something that you have to say, it's meaningful, it's going to make a difference, and especially that it's the truth. So you definitely have to speak your truth. You cannot allow people to just shut you out because they're scared. A lot of times you do find out because people are scared, so they try to make you scared. And once they do that, if you don't know who you are, then you're gonna fall for it. You're gonna be scared. You're gonna be like, "Oh my God, are you sure you think I'm gonna get in trouble for that?" But if you're a person who know yourself, you know that you're okay with standing for what is right, and that it doesn't matter who it is, where it is, what it is. You're gonna do what you have to do. You're gonna say what you have to say because you're an honest person and you know that your truth is your truth. You shouldn't allow anybody to shut you out just because they're not ready to hear the truth, or just because they're afraid about what you're going to say, especially when it comes to stuff like, imagine like you're at work and they're doing some sketchy stuff, some pretty a lot of places they have like institutionalized racism, and I've worked in places like that. Whenever you have, you would see people not who are seldom qualified. being promoted into positions, or sometimes they would misbehave, just like that Charlie guy on TV. They misbehave, instead of getting punished or getting addressed properly, getting reprimanded, they get promoted, you know. So pretty much, um, I've been in those situations and I didn't really care because I knew that what I had to say was important. What I had to say was the truth, and I stated my piece, and I was okay with it regardless the outcome. Um, I was okay with it. So maybe they were not okay with themselves. I don't know how they slept that night. Sometimes for their mindset, for some of the ignorance that they speak of. Um, I mean, if I started talking about some of that crap, it will just suck out too much out of good energy we got going on right now. All right, you have to agree to disagree that this thing is gonna go in and out, with my legs moving and all that stuff. So bear with me. Just focus on the information. We good? So, so yeah, one of those days, I'll get into it. But for right now, um, it's just sad. That's all I could say. It's just very sad to see that someone could be in a leadership position, just like we've seen. I mean, we've seen president in this country, with the biggest ignorance ever. So who are they to be in smaller positions and not to be just as ignorant? Anyway, so anyway, so speak your truth. You know, um, I try not to engage these things too much because they just suck out so much of your good energy. But at the end of the day, we do have to speak our truth. We do have to address the things that are inappropriate. The more we keep quiet, the worse that things get. And if it's not in this platform or that platform, you gotta find a platform if you have one to be sure to kind of like address some of these things. Sometimes I address them more on my Facebook because it's just easier to have better conversations, and the fact that I can really see who they are versus here is a little bit more different, as far as you don't see people timeline, you don't see their quotes and whatever to really see what they're about when they inquire about something, to really should I answer you or should I just ignore you? You know what I mean? Like in Facebook, Facebook and Facebook, I think we have it's just easier to have this type of conversation unless you're gonna do like one of those face to face kind of thing. But anyway, so the number one is that speak your truth. Sometimes people will be afraid, they want to shut you out when you're in places when people constantly lie to themselves. Some people will do anything to move up, so they don't care who they have, whose shoulders or whose head they have to step on. They will do whatever it takes to, or even more to get there. So it doesn't matter. Just speak your truth. All right. And sometimes too, I'm not saying to walk into work and then I don't know, there's like a funny smell, and the minute you open the door and you're just like, "What's that smell?" That's not what I'm talking about. What is this? What is going on? And no, that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is that if you're at work and you see something being done that is illegal, that is not right, if you see someone being abused in your presence and there's something that you can do, I'm not saying to jump in front of someone who's about to get shot at, and then you lose your life and they lose their life and everybody lose their lives. That's not what I'm saying. Because a lot of times I know sometimes people listen to things and they're not able to apply the proper common sense to what was being said. um because some people, they take it however you give it, that's how they take it. If you're like, oh, speak your truth, whatever, whatever, they go to church and then they say something and they misunderstood what was said, and they're just like, no, that's not true, Jesus didn't say it. And it's like, no, 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 not like that. Speak your truth in the sense of something is within you, something you see, something you feel that is not right, something that is being done. Like, for example, gosh, I don't have any example, but like, you know, okay, imagine like you a police officer, and some, a black person had like, imagine like weed was not like, all this legality stuff wasn't on. Imagine it was still illegal, you could go to jail, whatever. Imagine that someone who had like, I don't know those measurements, but imagine they had like a tiny, a, a s- a teaspoon of marijuana, and they're like, oh my God, you go in a jail, you know, whatever, whatever, you go to jail. They're gonna put you in jail for a year, 10 years, or whatever. And then they catch someone else with uh, a bowl of cocaine, and they're like, oh, because I remember there was a situation like that, right? After they arrest people for like a little bit of, just, I don't know what they call them again. I can't remember the things right now. I'm like, but just like the butt, no, not the butt. See, I'm telling you, I'm not here. The, you know what I mean? Just a spoon of marijuana. Let's leave it as that, because it's like, I'm not here right now. Yeah, yeah, bad. So, and then someone with like a big old bowl of marijuana, and they're just like, oh, look at this poor little baby, she's like such a business savvy, like imagine another 24-year-old, and they're like, oh, that little baby, she's so smart. Look at how she handle it. And then they're like, okay, community service, for a week. You're like, what? All a whole bowl of marijuana, I don't know, kilos, whatever they go. Imagine a whole that a Tupperware, a Ziploc, you know, of all that, that can destroy 100 people's life. They're like, oh, she's young. She's only 24. She's only 26. Just community service, because we don't want to like traumatize her in jail. And then someone else who was 19 with a little teaspoon of marijuana, they send them to jail for like 10 years. That's what I'm talking about. So when you see something, it's like, why? And I know I'm saying this as an example, but it has actually happened. You know, I have seen many documentaries, I've seen this little boy who had gotten in trouble because apparently, credit cards credit card fraud is a felony. And so he was in jail for like, was it for the rest of his life? He was in jail for life. And I'm not talking like for millions of credit cards. I'm talking, I don't know, maybe like $500 or $200 credit card fraud. And then they put him in jail. I think that was in Georgia. He was in jail for life. So, and he was a minor. They treated him like an adult. So, so speak your truth. Speak your truth in that sense. When things are not right, things are not do not appear to be across the board, the same for everybody, speak your truth. Number two, because I know the time like goes by very fast. Society will try to put you in a box, so it's up to you to try to fit in the box or to create your own opinion and create your own path. All right? So society will try to put you in a box. They'll try to tell you what you can and cannot do. But at the end of the day, it's up to you to decide, will you agree to fit in this box or will you get out and create your own thing, your own way, your own path, you know, instead of just following what they're telling you because it's not fitting. A lot of times it's really um, artists that are like that. Artists are constantly like standing up for themselves, like, no, I want to be a singer, I don't want to be a doctor. No, I want to be a writer, I don't want to be an attorney. No, I want to be a poet, I do not want to be a nurse. No, I do not want to be an engineer. I want to be what do you call it again, a sculptor, you know. It's like just take a stand for yourself. Stop allowing people to just decide what it is that needs to be done with your life. Um, Set up boundaries, you know, to say, no, it's not working out for me, and yes, when it is. So don't let them take over your life. Don't allow them to decide what needs to be done in your life. You can take people's ideas, you can listen to them, but it doesn't mean that you have to abandon your life so you can abide somebody else's opinion. A lot of times those opinions could be based off fear because let's say if you're going to open a business and they're like, "Oh, you shouldn't. It's so easy to lose businesses. It's so da 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 da." And next thing you know, um uh they start telling you all those different examples of people who attempted to start some kind of a business and it didn't work out. But in reality, you're going to start a business. It may work, it may not work, but that's up to you. It shouldn't be up to them. I mean, unless it was really like you are not working and you're trying to like rent a place that's like $10,000 while your business is obviously already projecting to you that it's only gonna bring in, I don't know, $2,000 for the month, and here you are trying to put this charge report. Okay. You know that it's only gonna bring in $2,000, but you're trying to get a place that's like $10,000. So you know it wouldn't make sense. But you know what to do. Number three, when you feel like you're not at peace, take a walk, breathe, meditate, pray, chant, sing, dance, repeat positive affirmations, shower, bathe, have tea like chamomile, sweet sop, but don't eat in a sense, don't overeat, don't binge eating. Also, don't abuse alcohol or drugs. So when you feel like you're not at peace, take a walk. I'm not saying to do all of these. I'm saying pick the ones that you like. Maybe you just want to like take a walk, breathe while you're walking, and then when you get back, maybe you want to meditate. And after you meditate, maybe you want to sing, maybe not, or maybe you want to dance, and then you want to just bathe, you know, take your time, and then you have some tea, and then you go to bed and watch a movie or something. Um, let's see. And also, while you're walking, like I like to walk when things like that, and I don't have to be like not at peace to walk. I love walking. I love taking long walks because it allows your mind to be clear. Um, it brings new ideas, new perspective to your troubles. Whatever it is that you were, whatever it is that that was going on in your life, by taking a walk, and now you're like, oh, I see why she's upset. I see why he's upset. That's why. Oh, he did tell me that. Oh, I remember now. He did. Oh, how did I forget that? And there you have it. Also, if it were that you had a business, you had something to do, and you didn't see how you were going to do it, you had to take a new class, or you had to go to a new school, and it's expensive and you don't know how you're going to pay it. But then you take a walk and you're like, oh, they did say there was a scholarship at that place. Maybe it's not too late. Maybe I can apply. Maybe if I miss this semester, I'm not gonna miss next semester. And you start coming up with ideas on your own. And your mind will be clearer, and you start having new perspective, and you start having new ideas. And it's like as if you're just like, wow, you know, it's like you just rejuvenated yourself sometimes when you take a walk, and when you're going through something and you're not sure, what it's going to be. Number four, shorten your talk, shorten your answer, your speech, your chat with others. Don't elaborate unnecessarily. Let them earn your news, your personal information, and other records of you. A lot of times when we're talking to people, we just like, sometimes like it just hits you and you're just like, oh yeah, And like for example, I'll take it on me. Like, and someone sees me and it's like, aren't you too young to be walking with a cane? Or aren't you too young to be on a wheelchair? And it's like, you know, I sometimes I could just, for a short answer, I could just like, and keep it moving. Other times, some people are very persuasive and they really trying to get something out of you. And, then you end up like, yeah, I got injured. Oh, really? How did you get injured? Well, I got into an accident. Really? What happened? Did you hit someone? Did someone hit you? And it's just like, okay, well, if I tell you, you're going to be my witness now, you know? And like sometimes you just say silly things just to like kind of get away from that because it's just like sometimes you're human, sometimes things just come out. Let's say sometimes when you go to work and people start asking questions. So what do you do? What did you do before you come here? Where do you live? You live by yourself? You live with people? You live with, how many of you? How da, da, da. And people just go on and on and on and on and on about the questions, and you're just like, okay, is this going somewhere? Sometimes you can just let them ask you and ask you and ask you, and then okay, is this going somewhere? Is this something you're looking for? Maybe just ask me what you're looking for and I can tell you. Especially sometimes, when people are not sure if you're single, if you live alone, and they just want to like be noisy in your business. And they'll be like, oh, okay, so to give people less information because the more you give them, the more questions they're gonna have. And if you didn't feel like having a conversation, or if you went to think, you know, meaning that if you get out of your house so you could process something, now the fact that they keep running their mouth, you're not going to be able to get anywhere because they're just going to keep asking and asking and asking, and they want to carry on. They want to have a conversation, and it's like, no, I'm sorry, I didn't come here for that. I came here to process some thinking. I don't mind saying hi, feel better, are you okay, or it's a beautiful day today. Um, it's gonna rain later. They say it might be flooding tomorrow or whatever, but it's like it's getting too much. So you gotta catch yourself. You gotta pay attention when you're starting to elaborate too much, so people don't take advantage of you, because that's kind of like what they do. It's not they're not asking you questions. So they could be like, "Oh, your job don't pay too much. You want me to give you? Why don't I give you an extra $1,000 this month?" They're not gonna do that. So be careful how much information you give people, because you'd be surprised. Because sometimes I was working with someone and I was just like, I was like, you got to be careful. The reason people constantly getting in your business is because you're pulling them into your business. Therefore, they're always going to have something to say about you. And once they say something about you, now you're going to be upset, because it's like, why are you talking about me? Why are you saying things about me? Or why are you in my business? Well, they didn't know you were divorced. They didn't know you were married. They didn't know you had a boyfriend. They didn't know you had a girlfriend. They didn't know anything about you until you told them. So you're the one who started your own trouble. So sometimes I'm not saying to be like, to have a completely mysterious life where um, you're just isolated or complete in solitude, where people don't realize, um, don't know anything about you. I'm not saying that. If you feel like talking, it's all good. But what I'm saying is monitor the things that you say, because sometimes it's the things that you say that people will use to insult you. It's the things that you told them that they will use to kind of like use abusive language with you later on. So just be careful with that. But if you're okay with people abusing you, and talk about your children, talk about your husband, your girlfriend, your wife, boyfriend, husband, whatever. If you're okay with it, then it doesn't really matter. So you decide. Number 5, stop going or visiting places that do not uphold you highly. Why do you continue? What am I saying? Why do you continue going or attending if they don't respect you? A lot of times people do things like that. Like, you are at a place where you're supposed to be invited, but the way that they treat you, it's as though you're not invited. It's like everybody else walk in, they're like, "Oh, hi, how you doing? Get comfortable, go sit over there." They bring them a drink. You come in, they're like, "Oh, hey, what's up?" And they're like, "Yeah, everybody's over there." And it's like when they serving you, they ready to give other people um, beautiful plates, beautiful cups, beautiful chairs to sit on. They want to cover the table and make sure everything is up to par. But then when it's you, it's like the broken plates is what they give you. The burnt Tupperware is what they give you. It's like you gotta pay attention. You gotta pay attention. One time, I knew someone, and that was the situation. And the thing is that sometimes that's what happens when people start getting too comfortable with you. They think they can just do anything. They That's exactly the situation. Because I'm not only talking out of like, oh, let me write it down. Let me just no. I'm talking out of some of the stuff. Sometimes it's experience, either that I have survived or that I have worked with someone, or that I have witnessed. These are not like fiction. I just want you guys to understand. This is, I'm not talking fiction here, I'm talking real life. Okay. So, this person, exactly as I'm saying, it's like, you know, I'm very picky, as a friend. Sometimes I don't eat at everybody's house, I don't go to people's house. But this is just like a Caribbean thing. That's just how they are. Sometimes some people, may do that, but a lot of us, you will not find constantly like at people's house, just hanging, spending all day, because you have stuff to do. You got to take care of your family. You got to take care of your family overseas as well. You have people all over the place, things happen, they're getting married, you constantly like you're traveling. Like, it's like because everybody's everywhere. So you just don't have that kind of time. And and I don't know what happened. I think that day she kept calling me and calling me like, "Oh, come on, I'm cooking this thing." I'm like, I'm not really hungry because it's like I didn't really eat like that. I mostly like ate, alkaline, the stuff I eat, they wouldn't eat. So, and I'm like, I'm like, it's okay because there's no need. I'm gonna bring it, then I'm gonna forget to eat it, or I'm like, it's okay. But I guess she just wanted some company, and she kept asking and asking, and I'm like, all right. I was doing something, I finished, and I'm like, all right, I'll stop by later. And then I noticed like someone else also stopped by unannounced, and she exactly did that. After she took me out of my cocoon to come out, to see her. She served the person in a beautiful, I don't know if you guys know, like the canteen, there's very pretty plates, a thing that attaches like two or three bowls on top of each other, and there's a handle, it holds it up. But it was like it was maybe like ceramic kind of like beautiful bowl, glass bowl, let's say it like that. Beautiful glass bowl with a top and whatever. And then she kept asking me for I'm like, no, I don't want to take it. I'm like, I just wanted to stop by with it. She's like, no, take some home. And then she took one of those Chinese soup thing, those bowls, those plastic, those long bowls. She took that to put the food. I'm okay with that. I don't like my food in plastic, especially if it's hot or something I'm gonna keep in there. But I'm okay with that because it's something I can just take home and pour it in my own, bowl. And then the person, not only they put it in that plastic thing, which they already know that I don't even like plastic, and then and then she took a plastic to cover it. She didn't even have a top for it. I was just like, oh, heck no. And then she took it, put it on, and when it was time for me to leave, we kept talking. I kind of like switch around the house, left it on the counter, and moved to a different part, and we kept talking so I could like find my way around it to just leave it behind. And then I left, and I left it behind. And then later on, they called me. I figured, I'm right in the parking lot. She called me. I continued going. I'm like, I'm not even gonna make a big deal out of it. I left. And then like a couple minutes later, I call back and I'm like, oh, hey, I see I missed your call. And then she's like, oh yeah, you left your food. I was like, oh man. I said it's okay anyway, because I don't like stuff in plastic. Yep. Yes, I did. So I didn't have to really throw that. I could have said something different, but I figured it was just like kind of not cool. And I had to mention it later. I'm like, I don't know. I see people getting stuff in their you know, glass bowl, and then I'm getting stuff in plastic. I don't like plastic. It's not safe, you know. And I'm like, I said, my subconscious probably just left it. And we left it as that. And sometimes that may be what you have to do to people. That may be what you have to do to some friends or family, just to make a point. Because sometimes if people serve you badly and you allow them to continue doing so, they will never consider serving you with the beautiful bowls, with the beautiful spoons, because you know what? It's like you will take it. People will never give you the good clothes. They will always give you the clothes that are like already have holes in them. They'll never give you something that's like brand new. They'll always give you something that's like that they've been wearing for the past 10 years, while they would give other people something brand new, or they'll give other people, um, beautiful stuff that they've ordered or whatever have you, or they'll give something that doesn't fit them, but not something that they've done stretched for like 10 years and then they're going to hand it to you. Sometimes you have to, like, you know, put some, I don't know, energy, open up your eyes and realize when people are not properly treating you, and you have to stop them in their tracks because you are the best example of how people are supposed to treat you. So if you allow them to continue doing these things and you don't say anything, then they're going to continue to do so. All right. I'm not saying to go fight, but you could do something as simple as I did. Like, I left the food behind and they're like, oh, you left your food? Oh, it's okay. I don't like stuff in plastic anyway. Next time I'll bring my own bowl to make it simple. You could say stuff like that because it's like you don't want it to become a habit, because whenever one person start mistreating you and you allow them, the next person gonna watch them and see what you allow and they're gonna start doing it to you. Now you have two people doing you wrong. Now when a third person comes in and wait, a third person comes in and they see how those two have been treating you, now the third person is going to start mistreating you. The fourth person comes in, they see how you've been allowing those three to treat you. Now the fourth person is going to do the same thing, and so on and so forth. So when people are mistreating you, it's really, really, really important to stop them. Or if sometimes you don't have an option, like let's say it could have been a situation where um, you couldn't get away from bringing the food or whatever it is they gave you, but you make it clear not to make yourself available next time. You know, I knew someone, we were cool and everything, and all of a sudden they started getting comfortable. Why? It's like they thought they had access. They start seeing you, and then they start talking junk, and suddenly the way, it's like when people don't know you too well or they never had access to you, it's like you're magical to them. you know you're mysterious to them. But then once they see you and they start like, oh wow, you human too, you cough, you sneeze, okay, so we cool. Okay, that should be a better ground to be like, okay, so we cool, I'm good with that. But then when people start getting too comfortable, you know, where you start telling them, I don't like this. Can you please stop? I don't like this. Can you please stop? I said, I do not like this. Can you please stop? Once you start repeating yourself too many times, pretty much that means it's time to go. Once people start doing certain things to you, and it's constantly, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Oh, I'm sorry. People don't have to be so sorry so many doggone times. I usually tell people I don't like people who like to be sorry so many times, because when people like to be sorry so often, it only means that they're gonna keep doing stuff to constantly being sorry for. It's like, why don't you fix things so then you don't have to be sorry, you know? But it's life. People are gonna be sorry. What can you do? All right. So definitely you go someplace, as I said. If you are not welcome, find your way out. Go somewhere where you appreciate it. Go somewhere where people love you, where people want to receive you open arms, where people are waiting for you, where people are like, oh my God, I can't wait to see you. I'm so glad you're here. I appreciate you. I'm so happy you're here. When can we see you again? When are you going to come back? You know, go to places where people are like, they elated when they see you. When they see you, you could see it in their eyes. They just like, oh my God, it's you. You know, go to places like that and you'll see the difference. You'll see how good you feel when you go to a place where people are like happy to see you. Don't go to a place where people are just like, you walk in, they just open the door and they walk away. They unlock the door, they just walk away and go sit in front of the TV. Yeah, what's going on? And mm, mm, mm. even though it's like, yeah, I'm comfortable here, but you know, I know, but you want people to open the door and to at least say hello. You want them to at least, do it differently because um, it just feels good when you can go somewhere, be somewhere where you are appreciated. You don't want to be somewhere where um, if you need some water and they're over there. You don't want that all the time. Sometimes you want someone to be like, oh, you want water? I'll go get it for you, auntie. Oh, I'll go get it for you, sis. I'll go get it for you, cuz. I'm trying to think like one more thing, like, wait, what else do we call it? you know? So, you just want that. I'm not saying we're like over the limit. What I'm saying is like you just want it. It's like even if someone is comfortable with you, because sometimes people misunderstand comfortable with you with disrespect. Because I'm comfortable with you doesn't mean that you have to treat me whatever way because we're just comfortable. You know, like sometimes some people treat you in such a way that you are actually uncomfortable. They would do things to you that you're like, should I just go home? Or, you don't want to go to somebody's house who invited you. And then when you get there, they're like, yeah, I'm sleeping. And they go to bed, they go to sleep. I mean, unless they have a condition which you're okay with and there's someone else to talk to or whatever. You don't want to go to someone's house who invited you, and then when you get there, they're like, oh, I'll be right back. Because instead of them, and they invited you, instead of them being there with you, they leave their kids with you and then they go. I had a someone like that I was working with. You know, this person will constantly call them, oh my God, girl, I haven't seen you. Where have you been? When you coming to see us? And then when she would go and see them, within five, within 1 to 5 minutes, the other one, she would just leave and leave kids with her. And like, oh my God, I forgot to check my mail. Oh my God, I forgot to go pick up my mail. Oh my God, I have to post this at the post office. Do you mind? But no, I didn't come here to watch your kids. I didn't come here to watch your dog. Sometimes people do things to us, and because we are so kind, we're so sweet, we don't realize what they've done to us. We don't realize what they've done because it's like we are not in that headspace. It's like, oh, it's my niece, oh, it's my nephew, it's my cousin. I don't really care, it's my baby cousin. Yeah, but I want to be made aware that this is what's going on. And then after the person left, to go do whatever they were going to do, that was supposed to be 5 minutes, 10 minutes. 5 hours later, they never came. That person had to call out of work because that person never came. Like, you don't do stuff like that. Another one did the similar thing. Didn't even come back until the next day. You don't do stuff like that. And you have a young child. It's not like you have like a big child, that can take care of themselves. You have a baby who's this person gotta like bathe, gotta put clothes on, gotta, even if this is your family, even if this person is familiar with the house, you don't do stuff like that. And these are situations where you are mistreated, you are taken advantage of, you are not being treated properly, and you stay in it because you don't realize that it's not right. No one told you it's not right. You feel it inside, deep inside, you feel like, okay, that's not right. But you're not really taking the time to say, listen, that's not cool. I love my nieces and nephew, but not in such a situation. That's not not like that. I was on my way to work. You told me to come here for 5 minutes, and 5 hours later, you coming like nothing happened, and then you're laughing like it's funny. That's not funny. So stuff like that, you need to address them. And if the person continues to do that, you gotta stop showing that. You gotta stop showing that. Unless you do the same thing, you don't respect yourself, then it's a different ballgame. But you gotta realize, as it is, I think it was Nina Simone, when love is no longer being served at the table, it's time for you to go. Or maybe it was someone else, but I think it was her. You know? So when kindness, when respect is no longer being served, it's time for you to go. All right? So number 6, love yourself. So this is just pretty much a follow-up to that. Love yourself. In life, things may happen to you that seems to shatter your life, but still, you gotta love yourself. Love who you are inside instead of focusing and lamenting over hurt, aches, and past and pain too. It's important for you to love yourself because, as I was saying before, it's like you're the perfect example of how people are going to treat you. If you want people to treat you good, then you're going to have to learn to treat you good. When you're abusing yourself, it's easy. It's easy for people to just walk in and start abusing you. But if you treat you good, they have no choice but to treat you good. Even when they can't afford it, they will treat you good because you treat you good. So don't focus on pain, don't focus on the past, don't focus on hurt, on things that have happened that you have no no control over. It's already happened. It's in the past. The only thing you can do about it is to correct it, to do better, to do bigger. 7, be willing to die so you can resuscitate from the ashes. Not literally, but how can you grow if you don't fall? That way you can work on you to become better, to rise anew. See, a lot of times people want new things, they want bigger things, but they don't want to work any more than they already are. People want to have accolades and, diplomas, but what are you doing different to get that? People want to get bigger jobs, better jobs, bigger houses, but what plans do you have to get there? If you're sitting on your patootie doing the same thing that you do every day, just take the remote, Netflix. All right, 10 days later, you're not. If you're sick, I can understand because sometimes I know when you're in that headspace, you're just unable to do a lot of things depending on what your conditions are. Um, it makes it challenging. It makes it challenging for you to be able to do things the way that you would prefer to do them. But regardless, when you want to do something, when you want to be seen differently, when you want to grow, when you want to become better and bigger, you have to be willing to do something different. If you don't do something different, therefore, you're not going to be able to get something different. So you got to do something different to get something different. If every day you're adding one plus one, you're always going to get two. If you want four, you're going to have to find a way to either add a one plus three or two plus two in order for you to do so. But adding one plus one every day is not going to work unless you're going to do one plus one plus one plus one, excuse me, to make your four. So when you want something different, you got to be willing to do something different. You want that bigger house, you want bigger jobs, you want bigger things, shinier things, bigger rocks, you got to be willing to do something else. So are you still gonna wake up every day at 4 o'clock in the afternoon? Are you still gonna go to bed at 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning? Excuse me. Watching shows, talking on the phone, doing everything else but what you need to do, and then just keep on repeating the same thing over and over. That's not gonna get you where you need to. If you're complaining, there's a hole in your ceiling, and every time it rains, water falls in the house. How long do you plan on complaining? Or you can get up there and get a piece of plywood, something, put it on there, screw it on there until you can get some money to do better, or you can get someone to help you to cover it for you. It's like you got to do something. You can't just sit back and just keep on complaining and keep on wondering who's going to save me, who's going to save me. Nobody's going to save you. You got to save yourself. If that's not obvious by now, I don't know when will it be obvious to you. So you got to shake it off. You got to realize that. Oh, you got to realize that, listen, it's time for me to do better. It's time for me to do bigger. It's time for me to do something else. This, what I'm doing right now, it's not working. So it's time for something else. You've been eating chicken, pork, and pork, pork, ooh, pork fried, bacon, beef, cow, whatever. You're just eating it all, and you want to lose weight. So I'm not saying to cut everything out, but number one is stop eating after midnight, and then a week later, stop eating after 9 o'clock. A week later, stop eating after 7 o'clock, and stop eating before 9 o'clock in the morning. So you will leave 7 p.m. to 9 a.m. It can work its way out of your system. But when you keep eating and eating and eating and eating and eating and eating, you don't even allow the food to get out. You have food in there sometimes that can be clogging, inside of you, that can be doing a lot of things that I don't even want to get into. Sometimes you can have food that's stuck in there for like 10, 20, 30 years that never got out. Take some food in your fridge, put it out, leave it on the counter, or if you want, put it on a jar with some water. See what happens to it. Close it or leave it open, whatever you feel like doing. But see what happens within one day, 2 days, 10 days. I don't even think you will be able to keep it in the house within 10 days, sitting on the counter. So imagine your body's even hotter than that. So imagine what happens to these food. The minute they get in there, they gotta go. So if you wanna make a change, excuse me, I explain to you guys why. So I'm not keep on saying that every time. Okay. So yeah, you know, if you want some changes, you gotta start acting on some changes. You gotta start doing some stuff to ensure that it's actually, I feel like I'm like so far back, but I think it's because the stuff behind me, because it's like those foam, so they start like, and I feel like I'm sinking it. So yeah, work on yourself. Forget about the past. They can't really do anything for you. You can remember the lesson. You can remember what happened. You can remember that. You know what? This street right there, yeah, somebody shouldn't go there. You know, but it doesn't mean that you have to be like, oh, the street right there. That's where I almost died. somebody did this, somebody, you don't have to constantly, as they say, revisit it. Sometimes it's like you bring yourself back there again and you suffer over and over. Oh my God. But at least the medication is working. Okay. That's part of the effect. And then we have the bonus. The bonus is secrets. Secrets can break friendships, relationships, whatever ships that you can think of, or unions. Um, secret can be like poison. When you keep them and you keep it, not only you have one secret, you have another secret and another secret on top of each other. So they can become like poison, not only to your friendship, but also to yourself. People will never trust you again, family or friends, when you keep secrets. And, you know, if something happens to you, um, like sometimes people can be sick and they refuse to let their family know, um, that they're sick. They don't tell their friends they sick. They don't tell their friends they sick. They don't tell anybody they're sick. They are sick. So it's just one day while someone is, or someone is cleaning, and they find like some piece of paper that's like, oh yeah, this person is badly sick and they need surgery and blah blah. And you're like, what? But she never told me anything. He never told me anything. And then now you cause this person to be upset, and they're like, okay, I thought we were friends and you betrayed me and blah blah blah. Sometimes you have people living in a house, people in the house with them don't know what happened to them, while someone outside, you know, some strangers outside, some neighbors know everything about the person. You know, in the meantime, the person in the house, husband and wife, they don't tell each other anything, but the neighbor knows everything about them. The neighbor knows when they get paid. The neighbor knows how much. The neighbor knows, things like that are not good. Because once that happened, the person is not going to trust you again. The person will not believe in you. The person will not tell you their secrets. And the worst is like it's when you sitting there, you're talking to the person, you're telling them, you like, you like they say, you emptying your entire belly, you're telling them everything. And then they act like nothing is going on with them. In the meantime, everything was going on with them. Everything was going on with them. And, until later on, I don't know, they had that baby, or they get married, or they move. Some people are moving, you live with them, they're moving out. You don't even know they move out until the day when they start packing their stuff. Sometimes they even pack their stuff, don't even say anything until the truck comes. And then you're like, what's going on? Oh yeah, I found a place I'm moving. You don't do stuff like that. You don't do that. This is someone who took you in. This is someone who helped you when nobody else wanted to help you. No family, no friends. And it's funny, sometimes when people need help, when people need you, they never have friends or family. But the minute you push them and they got their balance, they got friends and they got family that were somehow never anywhere to be found until they got their balance, until they got their bearings, as they say. So you just got to be careful with secrets. You got to be careful with them because they break families, They break friendships, they break unions, they break many things. They break businesses. You know, it's like you got to tell the truth. It's not like you going around telling people your business, but this is someone who is who you live with or who lives with you. It's like you have to have a certain courtesy. It's like you residing with someone, they think you were going to work. In the meantime, every time you went, you were going to meeting other people, or you were going to meet the family member that that person doesn't get along with or got in trouble with because of you. You know, it's like secrets. Secrets kill the vibe. Secrets kill plans. Secrets will take you out as a beneficiary. you know, so you got to be careful. Ah, you got to be careful. Secrets are not good. Secrets are not something you want in your life. I'm not saying to go into your belly, as they say. You don't have to go chat with everybody, but if you have a good friend, you have someone who lives good with you, someone who teach you things. Don't go out telling your business to other people who had nothing to do with you when you have nothing. And once you have something, now all of a sudden, um, you know, your business is for someone else. But once you didn't have anything at all, it's like, some people like they talk about money as long as it's not their money. But the minute they start making a couple dollars, they don't talk about money anymore. You don't even know where their banks are. You don't know what bank you don't even know if their bank is in the country. The way they operate, it seems like their bank is like out of the country. Their bank might be like in Switzerland or something. People can be very bizarre. People can be very, very, very bizarre. They want to keep secrets, but they want to be all over your business. People who always want to keep secret always want to be in your business. So you have to be mindful of that. Um, when you understand life ahead of time, when things happen, it's easier for you to deal with them. You know, the way that you would deal with them is more like you can manage it better versus when you don't understand anything about life and you don't know things about life. Anything that happens, you're hyper, you're upset, but when you have wisdom and you understand certain things about life, you just you don't know some people, something happens and you expect them to be like angry and just like, oh my God, I can't believe she did this and that. And then you're talking to them and they're like, it is what it is. It's life. People do things. And you're like, you're not upset? Can you believe this is what she did to you and this is how you're reacting? Like, I don't get it. And they're just like, well, it is what it is. That's how people are. People do things. You know? That's just how it is. And you're just all confused now because it's like, I don't get it. Did she understand what this person just did? Did she see this? Does she get it at all, this chick? Does she get it? You're not upset, you're not mad, you're not angry, you're not no, no, not at all. I understand why they did what they did, and people do better when they know better. And you're like, that's it? Wow. And you move on. So the more you know in life, the more wisdom your life, you know in life, the better. Sometimes you may have knowledge, you may have all this information, and you don't really know how to manage it because sometimes information you can just keep on collecting them. You could become information junkie. You're not able to process them properly. But when you obtain wisdom in life, when you got wisdom in life, you are better off instead of someone who has access to all the information in the world. Because information will give you some information, give you some description, some ideas about certain things, but it's wisdom that's gonna let you know if you should pursue it or not. It's wisdom that's gonna tell you if you if you should share information or not. It's wisdom that's gonna tell you if you should walk away or not. So secrets are not the best. You don't want to have secrets unless you must, um, because secrets can become a major issue. You know, um, I remember I had another client um, who was sharing that they had a friend and they were just like, this is what's going on. They felt like, they were friends for so long. They grew up together, went to the same school, and they lost each other for a minute, but it wasn't too long before they found each other again as they were growing up because they went to like to different places. Their parents traveled. They each went somewhere different. One went to Florida, one went to New York. So it didn't take long before they found each other again. And so they were happy, and one was like, I was just telling her everything. I was telling her everything about my life. I'm like jumping the guns, and I'm just like, I was holding nothing back. And it took me like, it was just like one day, and I just realized, like, wait, I've been telling you all these things. I don't know anything about you. What are you doing? Which school do you go to? You have a boyfriend? It's like, have I been talking that much that you never had an opportunity to even tell me what you about, where you going, what's going on? And the other friend became very guarded. It's like they were not really sharing too much information. Um, and that eventually broke the relationship, their friendship, because it became like a burden on the one person that has to constantly sharing their information and sharing their life events, everything that's going on, their wins, their failures, their lessons, their experiences, while the other one was just not sharing much anymore. It's like they changed, you know. So eventually, they fell out. They fell out, um, and they were not able to fix it, or maybe there's a bit of pride in the way, especially that the other person who was not sharing didn't fully understand what um, what the other one's concern is. They didn't see an obligation to share or a reason to share if they didn't feel like it. And yeah, so eventually, it fell out. But it's just sometimes, you have to pay attention to when you're talking to certain people. Of course, if this is your mentor, of course. But if this is your friend, why is it they know everything about you? They know your kids, their names, they have pictures, they have everything, and then you don't know anything about them. You don't know the name of their wife, their husband, their kids. You're not even sure where they live. So sometimes, when you have this kind of friendship, you have to pay attention. Because sometimes as people grow up, they do fall fall out of I don't know, fall out of love. you know, people meet different people because this is, a melting pot. There's a lot of people from everywhere. Uh, excuse me. And people change career. When they change career, they meet the other people, and people have new perspective about life. So that's also a reason. And people have access to education. Sometimes people educate themselves, and the other might not. And then eventually there's a disconnect until they fall out. So, you know, I think I shared with you everything. 7 ways to keep your life in harmony. One, um, speak your truth. Two, um, create your own path. Don't let society or anyone put you in a box. Three, when you're not at peace, don't indulge in things that may have negative outcome, like binge eating or abuse alcohol and drugs. Instead, take a walk, dance, sing, listen to music, repeat positive affirmation, meditate, pray, etc. Four, shorten your talk with people. You know, don't elaborate on things that you don't need to. Um, you know, let people earn the opportunity or the right to hear your story. Let them earn um, the opportunity to hear your news, personal information, stories, and records. Five, stop going or visiting places that do not welcome you. Six, love yourself. I don't think I need to say anything else. Love yourself. Um, well, love yourself because you're the example. You're the one who's um, putting out the simple out on how people should love you. You know, like how you walk by, like in the mall, and they give you simples. So you're the one who's giving people simples on how to love you. So love yourself good enough. They could have a good simple. If they're showing up to love you, they'll have like a guide on how to love you. To change, be willing to die, to come, to resuscitate from the ashes, beautiful ashes. So be willing. Be willing to do so you can work better on yourself and you can rise in you. And your bonus is be careful with secrets because secrets can break friendship, can break family, can cause major damage where people no longer trust you. Secrets can be like poison, not only in your friendship, but also to yourself. Secret cause diseases, cause tumors in the body, cause cancer in the body. You know, secrets cause something even bigger that you can no longer hide. You know, that's what that means. Like spiritually, if you understand certain things, like when people get sick, certain things that happen to us, it's like it's part of the manifestation within. So that's it for you tonight. I want to thank you for spending a little bit of time with me today. I appreciate you for that. And get on your steps, be on your way to live a better life in harmony, no matter where you are, no matter where you go, so you can remain that way. Um, and remember that you are the bridge to a better life. You are the bridge to your passion. You are the bridge to your destiny. So be sure to handle it well. Don't let anybody take that away from you. Don't let anybody take over your show. You're the master of your life. You're the master of your destiny. So you got to take it at hand. You got to take over control. Um, and you're big enough. You got this. You got this king. You got this queen. You got this whoever is watching. And I appreciate you. Mwah. Peace and love. Until next time, this is your Reverend Dr. Marie Griffith.